Hey, welcome back. Are you ready to start putting all of this information together? In this video, you'll learn how your feelings and emotions are associated with your beliefs and why this is so important to know. You know how you feel when something you don't want keeps happening in your life, right? You know that feeling. You know you want it to stop, but you can't find a way out of the vicious cycle. So you feel doomed to keep repeating the event or a similar event that will keep bringing up the same negative feelings and emotions. If you completed the I don't want list, you're already on your way to eliminating the things you don't want. The good news is there is a way out of this cycle, and the way out is to understand what you're feeling and why. The brain is made up of tiny nerve cells called neurons. These neurons have tiny branches that reach out and connect to other neurons to form a neural network. Each place where they connect is integrated into a thought or a memory. The brain builds up all of its concepts by the law of associative memory. For example, ideas, thoughts, and feelings are all constructed and interconnected in this neural network, and all have a possible relationship with one another. The concept and feeling of love is stored in this vast neural network, but we build the concept of love from many other different ideas. Some people have love connected to disappointment or disempowerment. When they think about love, they experience the memory of pain, sorrow, anger, and even rage. Rage may be linked to hurt, which may be linked to a specific person, which is then connected back to love. Food may represent feelings of comfort, satisfaction, and the memory may be linked to enjoyable and engaging family time around the dinner table. If you're having challenges with food, your neural network could be linked to these emotions, and your mind is working to recreate this experience in some way. So let's take a look at how these neural networks get started. Let's take the example of how a negative belief could take root in your subconscious mind. Think of a child around the age of 5. She's all excited to play with her new paints, and she's sitting at the table, drawing and coloring away. At some point, she's left alone in the room and gets the brilliant idea to paint a beautiful masterpiece on the wall. However, when her parents walk back into the room, they don't see a masterpiece. They see paint on the wall, and they start to freak out. So they do what most parents do. They punish her. They tell her why she's not supposed to write on the wall. And of course, depending on how they punish her, the severity of how she gets punished, the words that they choose, now she is learning not to write on the wall, but she's learning so much more. And she may be taking away the premise of don't paint ever. No art ever. See, because artwork and paintings and her masterpiece, they all have those feelings and emotions in her neural network of pain, of the pain of when she got punished for doing something that she thought was going to be so fun. In an attempt to teach her not to paint on the walls, the belief she took away from the experience was not to paint, ever. And depending on the feelings and emotions attached to her belief, as her adult self, she may not understand why she has no interest in art, painting, coloring, or feels depressed when decorating her own home. Here's a very simple diagram with a great explanation of how our emotions are tied to our beliefs. I found this diagram offered by the doTERRA essential oils. Essential oils can be a huge support system when dealing with feelings and emotions. So let's start with a life experience. As an example, we'll say that you had an argument with your mother. Imagine that your relationship with your mother is strained, and you find it difficult to have a loving relationship with her, and you tend to feel disempowered in her presence. Depending on your beliefs, you may already be judging yourself for not being a good daughter. So here you are, you've just had another argument with your mother. Your mind begins to process the experience, but based on your beliefs, you might be feeling angry, resentful, fed up, stressed out, or exhausted by the argument. Now your negative self-talk, that's based on your beliefs, starts to take you down that rabbit hole of negativity. And this experience will happen over and over and over again until you're able to master the beliefs that are triggering your feelings and emotions. The key to stop feeling disempowered is to recognize the cycle of your memories, beliefs, emotions, and feelings. So let's break it down. You have an argument. The argument brings up memories of past arguments. Every memory is associated with a feeling and an emotion, and the feeling and emotions are habit. This is what your mind and body expect to feel every time you have to deal with your mother. Because of this, every time you deal with your mother, it ends the same way or something similar. You've taught your mind to believe that this is the only way your relationship with your mother could possibly be. As an adult, you're now able to make your own choices, but every choice you make is based on your beliefs. And here's the huge, big secret. Every belief you've created in childhood has been brought with you into your adult life. If one of your subconscious beliefs is that you must respect your parents, yet you continue to have a tumultuous relationship with your mother, you can see that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are at odds with your beliefs. Yep, most adults are walking around, living their lives, making choices based on beliefs they've created in childhood. Is it any wonder then, when you want to change something in your life, you must make a conscious choice to master your beliefs? Unfortunately, the heterosuggestion process goes on in every home, family, office, factory, club, school, social gathering, corporate gathering, and every marketing ploy. There'll always be people who, whether they realize it or not, make suggestions aimed at making you think, feel, and act the way they want you to, in ways that are good for them, to their advantage, even if those ways are destructive to you. The good news is you have the power to decide whether or not you'll accept those suggestions. If you do find yourself being susceptible to these suggestions, your negative self-talk may include feelings of being duped or manipulated. We all know that person who's adept at getting others to do their bidding because most of us are too polite to point it out, argue, or just tell them to go pound sand. Let's go back to our don't want list. This is the one we created in the first video. We'll use this exercise to start training our minds to go from what we don't want to what we do want. The object of this exercise is to train your mind to start thinking more about what you do want and less of what you don't want, until thinking about what you do want becomes a conscious habit. Let's say you're dating and you don't want to date someone who smokes. If your habit of thought is to say, I don't want to date someone who smokes, you'll find yourself attracting smokers. That's just the way it works. The universe does not hear the words don't, not, and no. So you'll want to start paying attention to your thoughts and your words and what you're thinking, saying, and writing, because the universe hears all of these as something you're asking for. Instead of saying, I don't want to date someone who smokes, you want to change it to, I want to date a non-smoker. This holds true with every thought and every word you choose, whether you think it, speak it, or write it. Now take the list you previously created, and for everything you wrote down under the I don't want column, reword it to write what you do want. Examples are listed on page 11 of your workbook to get you started. When you can retrain your mind to think about what you do want, your thoughts will change, your words will change, your beliefs will change, and what you manifest into your life will also change. If you find your mind accepting what you've just learned, how can you apply this? How can you apply this information to the changes that you really want to have? What made you invest in this e-course? What is it that you're looking for? Don't overthink your answers. You'll have more opportunities to revisit this information in the following videos. Work on your want, don't want list and make sure you're writing down any of your ahas, anything that feels wrong, uncomfortable, anything that feels like, duh, this makes perfect sense. Why didn't I learn this a long time ago? This is how you learn what areas you need to focus on, what areas are shifting easily, and how you can start seeing progress as you stay committed to mastering your beliefs. In the next video, we're going to look at the power of our thoughts and our words.